Hello, everyone. This is the Abundance Oracle. It's a little later. It's now 6:30, and I want to talk to you about, my last video this morning. Um, I think one of the most important things, besides knowledge, that you can work on is your self-discipline. And self-discipline basically in everything that you do. To be able to differentiate yourself, that conversation that goes on in your mind, from the one you need to have go on in your mind. And that's two, and when you start out, sometimes that's two different conversations. One is, I have a goal, I have a target, I have a plan to reach my goal. Now, what it's going to take for me to reach my goal, because it's a big goal, is going to take knowledge and follow through, determination, and persistence. As you know, I say persistence all the time. Self-discipline. I want to say to force myself, but that's not a good way to look at it. To equip myself with the skill sets to be able to accomplish what I want to accomplish in life. So, as you know, yesterday was my birthday, and it's now 6 months have passed since my January 1st resolution to stretch, do my handstands, do my trampolining, drink my water, talk to you all more often. What else did I have? So I think there's like 6 solutions, and I made a chart. Of course, I made a chart because otherwise I can't keep track of myself. That's a whole another conversation. I used to teach a course called More Time, and at one point in time, way back in my late 20s, when I learned a lot of self differentiation from the conversation that's automated in my head. I used to teach quite a few seminars. It wasn't for tons of people. I think I had about 500 or 1,000 people maybe. It wasn't tons. But I learned from listening to them, the people that enrolled in my class seminar, and I learned from experimenting with myself, and I started to see where I was strong and where I was weak. And then I started to improve the skills that I was weak in. Being very honest was easy for me because a lot of my life it's just been that way. And my grandmother was very, very honest with what the thoughts in her head were, but what she was determined to create. And a lot of people never differentiate themselves from the thoughts. You're like a computer up here. From the thoughts that are automatically coming out into your brain because of how, when you were little kids, you saw a dog and he scared you, so you said, oh no, maybe dogs might not, some of them might not be my friend, but the cat was cuddling up with you. You make all these little decisions before you know any better, before you know or before you learn to develop yourself. So self-discipline, it gets more and more challenging. It gets more and more challenging, I feel, the older you get, because you solidify and cement a lot of basic thought patterns that you have at a very early age. And you consciously determine, oh yeah, oh, I better go this way, I better go that way, I need to learn this, I need to learn that. Oh yeah, my mom said to do this or do that, or my dad was teaching me things, skill sets that I thought were unnecessary. Now that I'm older, oh my gosh, I wish I listened to my dad a lot more. So, self-discipline. How are you managing those areas that you're weak at? And you are the only one that knows, well, you know what? On my whole life, I've had a difficulty with this or that. Well, that's probably because your self-discipline in those areas, like I can tell you, I never used to eat a lot of food. I was always very, very thin. I competed in some competitions when I was young, and it was good to be thin. And so I learned how to master being thin, but I did not master not eating sugar, not eating fried foods. I stopped eating fried foods probably 15 years ago, 20 years ago. But the sugar habit, it's in there deep. I really do like a good candy. And now, when I was in my middle age, I'm trying to think maybe 30s, they started on Diet Coke, which back then we all didn't know was, horrible, I shouldn't have said, soda, diet soda. Sorry, I'm going to get in trouble. Diet soda, which is so bad for you. And I still, from time to time, and listen to what I'm going to say to myself, what my brain says to myself, oh, you've been doing so well. You deserve one soda. No, I don't deserve a soda because a soda's so bad for you. But this is my brain, automaticity that comes up. Oh, you deserve a soda. And maybe I'm giving you too much information. You know what I really like? A Lay's potato chip bag with a soda. I love Lay's potato chips. So there's certain areas that I can go 3 months, maybe 4 months. And then there's some times when I'm really working hard, trying to keep my control. I'm working on purchasing a new place. It's stressful for me. Adding in rental properties right now that are pushing myself to larger and larger net worth. And it's a little stressful because I'm stepping into some territories that are newer to me. The commercial properties are all triple net. I don't have to do a thing. And these, I'm accumulating different properties. So anyway, I don't mean to yell. The cheerleader in me. So a little stress, and I do something good, and I finally pull through. I have an accepted offer on one of the things I'm buying. Oh, Carol, you did a good job. Okay, you didn't move up in your price because you stuck with what you could afford and all the numbers. And you deserve a soda and a Lay's potato chips. It's hard for me too. I see some of these guys that do weightlifting, and they have weightlifting channels, on there, and they all these inspirational music and inspirational poems and everything. And I think, oh my gosh, why don't I retabulate my brain? Don't take the poison. You deserve better. That's got to be my new motto. You deserve better. And I have changed a lot, but every once in a while, the self-discipline goes out the door. So I am sure some of you out there, it's the same thing with you. So you can work with me on the self-discipline. And the biggest thing you have to master is the extra money you have needs to go into income producing investments. Or if you have enough income, it needs to go in capital appreciating assets instead of out the door in dinners out, in clothing. I'm trying to think, what do men do? Maybe they might buy, I don't know, what do men buy? Fancy suits, or taking a girl out to dinner. Okay, hopefully you're married already and you have your wife on board. Come on, honey, we're going to build a future for our children now. We're not going to go out to dinner. Let's go home and cook. By the way, maybe we need to teach our children how to cook. My daughter is getting a roommate, and they came to visit here because it's a beach town. And she said, oh, you're cooking dinner. She said, my mom cooked everything all the time, and I never learned how to cook. And so I said, well, I'm going to give you the extra dinner that we didn't eat, and you take it home with you. And I thought, I need to teach my kids to cook more. I have a good friend, Angie, who's fabulous. She teaches her kids how to cook. She cooks all the time. She's Greek. In fact, our first fight back 40 years ago, I'm going to say probably 40 years ago, was on our first fight, and probably the one I remember the most. Now, there have not been a lot of fights over the years because our first fight took care of so much. It was sauce put on lamb. That's what the fight was over. Crazy, right? But we stayed in the disagreement, discussing it and learning how we each behave and what it means to us. And we've been friends ever since. We've had maybe a couple disagreements, but we've never had a fight like we had over the lamb sauce. It's crazy. But I said, listen, we're none of us are leaving here. She was sitting on the staircase. I was standing at the end of the staircase. You're not leaving till we get over this fight. And that's what we did. We both sat there and talked it out and talked about how during our childhood, why we like certain things a certain way. It's not that I didn't want her cooking. It's like I wanted the experience of my home cooking. So some people you have will remain friends for life, and you need to talk through certain things, and it helps you develop the self-discipline. So I don't know what else to say to you about it. I know how I manage myself. I have a goal mind map up on the wall, and then I have a chart of things that I must every day check off because I don't have it self-discipline mastered on those things. I don't have it mastered, and unless I have to check it off every day and say, oh, good, I accomplished this. I'm mastering this. I'm getting there. And I've had 6 months completed now of keeping my word to myself. Nobody else cares if I do my handstands and my stretches. Keeping my word to myself gives me the inner strength and knowledge that I can do this. I can reach my goals. And you know what? The more you have self-discipline, the more that idea gets stuck in your brain. I think I can. I think I can. I know I can. I know I can. I've done this before. I've done this before. That's what I'm trying to teach you how to build. And some of you I know out there, you already have the self-discipline. And some of you I know that we're struggling in certain areas. I think everybody has an area they're struggling in. Anyhow, we can master these things because I feel the future is going to be changing fast and a lot. And we're going to need to be able to adapt, learn, and find fun ways of patting ourselves on the back and our friends on the back. Love you all. No matter where you are, you can become financially independent. You can build abundance. You can have your families be wonderful, grateful, maybe not all the time. Love you all. Support those around you building abundance. Teach them what you know, and they'll teach you what they know. Love you all. Please subscribe if you can. And pass this on. If you can have anybody else subscribe, it helps me out a lot. Love you all. Bye.